Hey, what's going on, guys? Everyday Gunpla here, and today we are reviewing a very special guest. We got Gus's big brother, Regus. Woo, let's go. We got the GZSS OX1 Regus, guys. I was really excited for this kit. I got it super early, so I'm really pumped for this. Only bad thing is, it doesn't come with a box. So, straight out the bag, we got 28 runners. That's right, this is going to be a big one, guys, and you're going to be using almost every single piece of equipment and pieces on these runners, except for maybe 10 or 15 parts, because Regus actually uses Gus's entire frame. So that's pretty cool. There's a little bit of differences with the head and the knees and his backpack. But other than that, pretty much all of this can be repurposed onto Gus's frame, which I think is pretty cool. You can probably do a kit bash in the future. But other than that, yeah, this is going to be a big kit, guys. So get ready for the long haul. Now, the book cover looks just like Gus's, except for it has the Regus on it. So it's going to have that same good quality that Gus's book has. It's got good animation. It tells you where everything you need, but it doesn't have the runner slots that you need for every part, which again, I'm a big advocate for. I feel like every Gunpla company should have their book structured like that, unless it's like a small book. But that's only little gripe with that. The animation in the book is amazing. The illustrations are really good. Again, quality paper. You got the water slide guide in the back, and you got the end of the book. It has the rest of the water slide guide on the back. Let's get into this build. The plastic's okay. It's good. It's an easy build, but some of the plastic's a little finicky. We'll talk about that in the cons later. Other than that, pretty straightforward build. I think that this is going to be a toss-up of really good like to dislike. There's going to be a little bit in the middle. There may be actually a lot in the middle. I think that this kit is fun. It's definitely not really a challenge. It kind of is a challenge, but it kind of isn't a challenge. I don't really know what I'm trying to say with that. It's easy, but I can see people getting frustrated with it. And what I mean by that is that once you get going, it doesn't seem like it's going to slow down and like you're on cruise control until you get to a little bit of the arm section. You slow down there. The elbow bending, you start slowing down there a little bit. Other than that, it's a fun build, guys. You're going to be sitting there for a little while and you're going to be like, man, this is kind of tedious, but at the same time though, it's fun, you know, like the build experience is very, it's just very like, I don't know. It's like you start picking up pace and you're going, and then you get slowed down a little bit. I got slowed down on these backpack I think they're boosters. These backpack fuel boosters. I got slowed down here in the middle there with those. The backpacks was fun to build like in general. Great backpack. Actually one of the cooler backpacks, I think. Especially for this size, it wasn't heavy. Even with the fuel canisters and or fuel boosters, whatever those are, it didn't make the backpack more heavy. It actually kind of added to the weight distribution, believe it or not, because Regus is kind of top heavy. And I think that's just from the added plastic that you put onto the shoulders, because the shoulders have missile pods in them, which is really cool in my opinion. I like gimmicks like that. They actually close and open. So that's pretty cool. You guys will see that later on in the video. But it really added to the top heaviness of Regus. And I think the backpack really balances that out, because for a little while there, while I was putting it all together, he was kind of like not flopped over, because his waist is actually very strong. I'll give him that. These guys, GZZ really knows how to reinforce their waist, because with everything that was on top of Gus, he actually should have been like toppling over a little bit. Now, when I say he's top heavy, I don't mean he's like gonna fall or anything. I mean like his arms just feel heavy and weighted. Once you guys build it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I really can't explain it in the video, but it actually adds to an issue that I'm going to have with the cons later on, because it looks good when you put it together. Everything looks awesome. You know, like I said, the backpack here, beautiful. The waist here, they know how to reinforce the waist. The plastic is good, but it could be better. And the color separation looks amazing, by the way. Like, let's talk about that for a second. Regus it gives you two options actually, for the head and for the feet and some of the knees. So like I said, Regus reuses Gus's frame, and you also get Gus's feet, but you get a black and a red version now. Now the black is to make Regus look less like a Gundam, but the red is to give Regus that Gundam upgrade aesthetic. And what I mean by that is, I believe if there was lore for Gus in any whatever anime he's in, I believe Gus gets destroyed at some point, and they take Gus's data and they take some of his frame design, and I believe they use that to make Gus or Regus. So it's kind of like, I don't even know how to like explain it. It's kind of like a reverse on when the Gundam was made, when the RXX, oh my god, the RX-78 Gundam was made, and then they made Gems. Gus was made, and then after Gus was made and probably destroyed, they put that data into making Regus. So they gave you the red option with the forehead medallion right there in the middle. They give you the options down with the feet and the back of the legs. So that's pretty cool, I think, that they give you that option to either use black to make him non-Gundam, and they give you that red to give you that aesthetic of, man, Regus is a cool looking upgraded Gundam, you know what I mean? And I think that was a really good distinction that they made from Gus, because in all intents and purposes, Gus is a crazy grunt. You know, he's more like a Jegan style, and you know what I mean, like Easy 8, you know what I mean, all that cool stuff. We talked about that in the Gus video. But yeah, I think Regus is definitely a cool upgrade of Gus, and you can see a lot of Gus in the suit with the legs, with the arms. Now, mind you, you get a really massive shield this time. It's more like akin to the RX-78 shield. It's more akin to the full armor Gundam. That thing's huge, man. It's a huge shield. You guys will see here in the video. But how was the build? It was fun. It was a good time. Again, it got hung up on some spots where you slow down a little bit. How is the weapons? The weapons are cool. The weapons are all right. You know, you got the same beam saber effects that you got with Gus. But now we're gonna go into the cons, because although I really like this gun, I really don't think they put a lot of thought into color separation. I actually had to paint a few bits of this some gunmetal gray just to separate the color more from just the plain yellow here and the crystal blue that they have in here, because it just looked very just plain. They give you these really big rocket boosters in them, which is cool, but the gun is so heavy that Gus can't hold it up by himself with just one arm, and I really don't like that. I don't like that I have to use, and there, you only get one gun. So I don't really like that I have to use both arms, or I have to pose him with the gun standing straight up and his arm back just to be able to keep that gun off the ground. I think that was a really big issue, and it really took away from the articulation aspect of this. Also, a lot of the plastic isn't undergated, so you're going to get a lot of stress marks. So be careful with that, guys. You really need to be careful with that, because I actually, and thank goodness that there was multiple Gus parts in there. I actually broke his left arm trying to pose his arm over to grab the handle for the beam rifle. And I think that they really need to look at that. And I think they need to go back, and I think they need to adjust that for future releases, you know, if they continue down with the Gus line like this. And I really think they need to work on the articulation for this thing, because although it looks amazing and, you know, the head movement's good and the legs move, the arms do move, not being able to pose the gun the way I want to, that's a big issue for me. And as much as I love this design and how it looks and how much I love the upgrade, I still have to be honest here. You know, I have to be real. I can't sit here and, you know, feed you guys crap. So yeah, with that said, you know, those are my cons for it. You know, the pros are, it looks amazing. Lots of gimmicks. You got the shoulder pads, or excuse me, the shoulder pods with missile launchers in those. You've got the thigh missile launchers, which is pretty cool. You have the lots of aesthetically pleasing booster thrusters. The gas tank pods are awesome. You got a giant shield. You got 4 beam sabers, which, I mean, Gus had 4 beam sabers, so I'm glad that they kept with that, which is pretty cool. It's got really good color separation. It looks awesome. It's huge. It's probably half an inch taller than Gus, and Gus is a massive master grade, guys. I don't know if any of you who haven't built Gus is huge. Gus is about almost 9. I believe Gus is 9 inches in height. So Regus being half an inch, Regus is about 9.5, about 10 inches in height, guys. And for a master grade, that's huge, because you got to think about it. Most perfect grades are 12 inches. Like, most normal perfect grades are about 12 inches in height, guys. And for Gus to be about 8 or 9, and then Regus to be about 9.5, 10 inches of height, oh my gosh. But it's beautiful. It's, like I said, beautiful props, beautiful gimmicks. But the posing, the articulation, as you can see right here, I have to hold the weapon just sits there, you know what I mean? And this is what I mean by he seems top heavy, because with his shoulder pads and with his rocket pods, he just, no matter if you stand him straight up, he feels like he's going to lean forward, especially when you have the gun. He's going to pull him forward a little bit. And I think if they would have gave him a smaller rifle like they gave Gus, they would have knocked it out of the park with the weapons, because you can't just you can give one weapon and it'd be a massive weapon that, you know, you have to do specific posing with, but you got to kind of give, if you're going to do that, like, give him a small rifle, give him a pistol, give him a submachine gun, you know? Who's this for? This is for intermediate to advanced builders, I think. Gus is the beginning, and I believe Regus is definitely the evolution of that. So if you do get both, I would start with Gus first and then build Regus, because once you build Gus, Regus is going to feel right at home for you guys. How much was this thing? I paid $70 for Regus. That kind of outweighs a lot of my cons that I had in the video, but it still doesn't excuse the fact that this gun is just massively, I mean, look at this thing. You have to literally put the gun straight up into his hand for it to pose correctly. So with that said, I have to give this kit, reluctantly, I have to give this kit a 8.5 out of 10. I'm not going to give it an 8, I'm not going to give it a 7 because it was a amazing build. But those couple of cons really hold this back from going up against Gus as far as a perfect build. And to me, Gus was the perfect Gus was the perfect third party build, you know, and it was amazing to look at and beautiful and fun. And, you know, it's just, Regus is definitely a really good upgrade to Gus. And I really hope they continue this line. I hope we get more grunts like Gus, and I hope we get more upgraded Gundam-ish versions of Regus. So with that said, guys, if you like the content, give me a like, subscribe, tell me what you guys think about Regus, and let me know if you're going to buy him or not, because I think he's a solid buy. This is Everyday Gunpla. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.